Hola, hola, hola. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another show or episode of Casas Cashflow. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today we have an excellent show for you. Number one, we're going to be talking about 3 great things that you need to know. Number one, I'm going to go straight into it. Number one, and I have my notes here. Is every property a good deal? Yes or no? Number 2, what is your exit strategy? Do you know, and why is that important? And number 3, do you know your numbers? And even though I have talked about a few times before about know your numbers, when you put those 3 things together I just mentioned, the end result of that would be, is it a deal or is it a trap? Now that you know what we're going to be talking about, Bianca, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ms. Pino. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the show. Whether you are a beginner in real estate or a seasoned real estate investor, this show is for you.
I agree. And you might be wondering, well, what does it really take, or how do I know? And why are we talking about this? Very simply, a lot of people, we go to a lot of networking events and we talk with beginners, investors, midterm, in a way, investor, meaning like they have done 1 or 2 or 3, 4 deals, or so they think they're investing, and then they don't have a good experience, they don't have a good return. Like, there are things that happen along the way. And also we have we come across investors that have done many deals like ourselves, but also in the midst of that, we also realize sometimes that the way that they talk about their deals and their profit margins, etc., could be even highly improved, but there are certain things that they're not aware of. And by the way, I don't want to come across like I know everything and I am the Nostradamus of real estate investing or anything like that, but I am sharing, and we are sharing from our personal experience what has worked for us, especially if you are new into real estate investing, because definitely this is a great opportunity. This is a great vehicle for which you can create assets, accumulate wealth, and then be able to leave a legacy. Now,
mainly, this type of shows is for you to avoid any type of costly financial mistakes, right?
Costly. Hear that again. Costly financial mistakes. What does that mean? Well, it's going to cost you a lot, really, if you make those mistakes. So let's get into it as far as, and so experienced investors, they know, or they get to figure out, they get to the point, and this is maybe where you need to be, when to move forward with the deal and when exactly to walk away from the deal. And I can say, me personally, I know that we have walked away more from deals that we have actually moved forward with. Why? Well, because exactly the 3 things that we're going to be talking about. And this is one thing, not because a property is for sale, it means that it's a deal. Right? It's a deal. No, might not be a deal. For example, recently we were talking about foreclosure deal. We talked to a potential investor wanting to buy the deal. Let me give you a scenario here. We were talking about the price point, what it needs for rehabs, then time in the market, what about the profit margins. The investor was really excited about it, about buying the property. And in my personal opinion, I thought it was a terrible deal, because that deal did not have all the check components aligned to allow for an investor to come in and buy, fix it, sell it, buy, fix and sell and make a profit. So right there is one thing. Not because a deal is for sale, it's a good deal. And yes, I love all my real estate agents, but keep in mind, they want to make a commission. So does the mortgage people. I love my mortgage people, and I love my title people. But if you are an investor and you're looking to buy property, to either to accumulate asset, to cash flow, whatever your reason is, but from the mindset at some point of an investor, if it doesn't have, just because it's for sale and it doesn't have the profit margins that you need, walk away. Don't buy it.
Is there a formula for those people who are wondering, when do they start, how do they start, where do they go, how do they start?
You already confused me with a question. So what is it again?
Is there a formula?
Well, you see, it might be a formula, or there is a formula. I personally hold certain standards by which I go by. it's not the same for everybody. So it's not really what I call stamp written stone. So it will fluctuate. Why? Because your idea of investing and your end goal for investing might be different than mine. Like currently, for example, we are building for legacy, we are building for retirement, we are building for different things. You might want to be building for, I need cash flow now, so I leave my job. That's it. Those are two different goals to achieve, same related to real estate goal. So that's important you understand that. So circling back, not every property for sale is a good deal. So will it be a deal or will it be a trap? You need to answer that. Number two, start with the exit in mind. Why is that important? Before you even put a contract, before you put money in escrow, before you reach to, you find a deal, you come across a deal. What are you doing with that deal? What is the purpose of you getting that deal? And then a couple of things in there. Are you going to keep it? Are you going to sell it? If you're going to sell it, who are you going to sell it to? And then why are you selling it? Some deals are better to keep within the time frame or the cycle that you're in. You might buy it at a good point. However, by the time you get to sell it, if you want to sell it immediately, might not be a good deal. However, you might buy a property, hold it for particular 3, 4, 5, 7 years, and then sell it at a great profit margin. Then that's a great deal. That would be sweet. So you need to know what your exit strategy is for that particular property, for that particular deal. And even though if you've done, let's say you buy flips or you buy land or you build new construction, whatever it is, what is the exit strategy ultimately? How long are you going to keep it? How are you going to deal with it? What about delays? There are a lot of things into it, but you need to start thinking about that. And that's the purpose of this episode today, to help you start thinking, what are the things that you got to think about before you fall in a trap on a real estate deal, because you want a deal, not a trap. Okay? Are we clear so far?
So the deal is when it's profitable, and a trap is when it's a risky venture.
Exactly. And why will it be a trap? Very simple. It does not align with your real estate goals for the deal, for you, on the moment. You see, we got
The neighbors.
Música de fondo. And number 3, and this is one of the most important things, I'm going to deepen up a little bit more on it. Know your numbers. When you know the numbers, and we have talked about it briefly, but this time I think I'm going to touch upon, and I have them actually took the time to write them down here, so you know the different things that dictate you knowing the numbers, and if the numbers are right, so you can confidently determine if a deal is a deal or is what? Or is a trap.
It's a trap.
What is a trap for you?
When it's risky, when it's not profitable.
And how do you know it's risky?
Well, I have to do my due diligence. I have to do my numbers. I have to know what the land costs in our case, or what the property costs. How much does it cost for me to rehab it? What is the market value at that moment? What money am I putting, to acquire the property? Did I pass the test?
Those are all components that fall into that area when you are analyzing or underwriting a deal. All right. And I'm going to go over a few of them. Number 1, property value. And yes, Vianca, you are right. And as a matter of fact, you did mention some of the ones that I have here listed and that I want to touch upon briefly. Number 1 is the property price. What is a purchase price? Just because it's for sale and the purchase price is listed in Zillow or in the MLS or it's off the market, but it's directly with a seller or a private investor, it doesn't mean that the price is worth what it is. Recently, we had someone that wanted to sell, and it was the investor to investor, no real estate agents in between, selling us some land and wanting to sell some land. And we looked at the numbers, we analyzed the numbers, we went through a lot of due diligence into it before committing to it. And I realized that what he was asking, it was stratospherically, I don't even know if that word exists in English. It's out of this world. Like it was like a NASA rocket up to Mars, asking for a number. In other words, asking top value for the property that, even though it has great things, at first sight, it has an endless amount of problems that we would have had to deal with if we would have purchased our property. So when we realized that, because we went deeper into analyzing before committing, the smart thing was walk away and say, thank you, no, thank you, and move on, because it would have cost us tremendous amount of problems, tremendous amount of delays, tremendous amount of profit losses. And I know that's incongruent. If you have profit, you can have losses, but you would have a loss if you don't make a profit. And that was the whole point. So property value is super important. Make sure you buy properly at the right price point, that you can document it, what is proven at that point when you're buying. Not what happened 7 years ago when somebody purchased a property, or when they purchased a property. That doesn't count. It's like right now, what is the market, what is it worth, do you have points to prove recent sales that you can document yourself, so you make the decision, you feel confident making the decision. Number 2, land value. Sometimes the land value, same thing. If somebody's selling, guess what? They're trying to get the most they can out of it. Especially if they have one piece of land, couple pieces of land, they think that they're selling like the world, the best, the Coca-Cola in the desert. No. Still, for you as an investor, it's like, okay, I'm looking at this deal. Does it make sense or not? Is it a deal or is it a trap, right? So the land value has to be congruent and in alignment, or a percentage of what else is happening after. Because remember, you already did your exit strategy, so you kind of like already know, what you should better know, what are you doing with that piece of land? What is the land value? What is the structure value? Now, another point. So purchase price, land value. What about construction costs? In our case, what is the construction cost? Right now, for example, the national average for new construction nationally, I'm saying nationally, is around $145 to $150, $160 square feet, somewhere in there. Why is it going to fluctuate? Depending the area where you are in the continental US, for example. Is that the real price for you, or the construction cost for you? Not necessarily. If you don't know, you're gonna be like, oh yeah. And if you are a spreadsheet investor, it's gonna be, oh yeah, you're gonna take it for face value. And if you're talking about a general contractor, probably they're gonna make you think that you have to accept that price. And the point is, if you don't know any better, you're gonna say like, okay, good. And then you're gonna do your numbers based on that. But it doesn't have to be that way. So you need to deepen up and learn. That's education. How do you learn? By learning, getting together with people that are doing it. You need to dive deep, all right? So you're building a business, you're building your wealth, you're building your income, you're building your legacy. You know what? You gotta invest in you first, and you gotta learn. So construction costs can fluctuate, but this is the thing. The lower the construction costs that you can manage, what happens? You increase your profit margins, and that's what I want to leave you with on that. Next point, holding costs. You know that you're going to exit the property. You already know that, kind of like what the numbers are, but did you factor in your holding costs? And your holding costs include whatever closing costs you have at the beginning of acquiring the property. How much more are you putting in? Are there any delays? Are there, property taxes within that time frame? Those are holding costs. You still need to hold those costs and carry on until when? Until you exit the property. Another point, financing. Financing, if you're going through financing, people say, no, it's a good deal, a bad idea. And I say, well, you know what? Use other people's money. That's a great way for you to finance your deals. And with that, we're a great testament of, using other people's money. It's a great idea. Why? You create the opportunity for an investor that has no interest in being on a day-to-day operation, and in return, you give them income or participation and equity, whichever way you describe or you agree upon with the investor. Now, financing costs, you gotta factor that in within everything else. And people say, well, can you make money? And then consumer mentality goes like, oh, what is the interest rate? It doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because if you're able to factor in your financing costs and still make a profit, doesn't matter what the finance cost is. And people will argue the point here. You, the smart want to be that, Yes and no. But the point is, if you're making money with somebody else's money, why are you so cheap that you don't want to pay your investor a good return on their investment so they also make money, so they are excited about funding your deals because you are creating the opportunity, you're bringing the deal to them, and they are making money. But don't be cheap. So factor in the cost and see what your threshold point is. What is the lowest you can go? What's the highest you can go? And still make a profit. Super important, because that can make difference whether a deal is a good deal for you. Because if you find a really good deal but you're cheap on the financing cost because you don't want to pay extra couple of points, guess what? Now you have no deal, and it's not a trap. You trapped yourself into being cheap, mentally speaking. Next point, closing costs. You got to factor that as knowing your numbers. What are the closing costs? You got title, you got searches, lien searches, you got closing costs. You got to factor that in. That's important. It's part of your profit margin, which leads me to the next one, which is selling costs. You're buying a property, you're doing your number, you're already factoring all these costs that are, and I know I already mentioned quite a few of them, and I know I'm going fast, but this is the idea, going fast so I can deliver the information to you, and then you go back and rewind and listen to it slowly and jot it down. I'm like, what is she talking about? Well, great. This is exactly for this, to teach and educate you so you can be empowered to know whether a deal is a deal or it's actually a freaking trap. And if it's a deal, you do it. You move forward. If it's a trap, walk away as fast as you can. Now, selling cost. Are you going to hire a real estate agent? Are you going to do marketing? For how long? How is that going to happen? What is that number within your deal that still, when you factor in your closing costs, when you factor in your rehab or your new construction, when you factor in insurance, when you factor in financing, when you factor in selling costs, meaning real estate commissions, do you still have a profit margin? If the answer is yes, yes. And sometimes the profit margins are so skim that you cannot even get into the skinny jean, you know? Because there's so thin, there is no profit margin. Time to walk away. And last, I left it for last because it's needed. That is real profit margins. When you itemize all these holding costs, and I mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with profit margins. If you couldn't keep up, go back, rewind, and write them down. Profit margins. What percentage do you need to be in to be worth it for you to do a deal? And there's two things here: pre-tax, and then what do you actually keep after paying taxes. It's going to depend what your scenario is, what tax bracket are you going to be in, but that's important. That's also something else that you need to factor in. And what is that net real number? You need to know, and you need to know now when you are into the deal, now when you need to know that before. People say, well, but that's a whole lot of freaking work before getting to the deal. And I said, yep, yes, exactly. That's why we have walked away more from deals than actually the deals we've closed, because we figure out early in the game that it's better to walk away than actually get into a deal that is not going to work out, because then you're going to be dealing with a lot of aggravations and surprise, and then you're going to be one of those people talking about, well, I had a real estate deal but didn't go right, and there goes your sorry story. And this is not what you should be focused your time and energy. You should be focused your time and energy into like analyzing the deal before. And if you need to walk away, great, you learn. And if you do the deal, oh my God, you're gonna fly through that deal, and it's going to, the end result is gonna be exactly what you predicted, projected, studied, because you researched, you took the time to make it work. And with that, that's what I'm gonna share for today. I think I share a whole lot. What are you saying to close this show?
Remember to go ahead and find a deal that it makes you money. It's all about profits. And I've learned from you today and every day, you always do your due diligence before you even start anything, before you even put a letter of intention, before you do a contract. Just do your due diligence. And yes, it will take time.
It will take time. So remember here, is it a deal or is it a trap? You got to answer that. And I hope you got a lot of value out of this episode today. And I see you guys in another episode of Casas Cashflow. Go out, find those deals, close those deals, but before that, is it a deal or is it a trap? Bye now.
But remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and give us a call.
Reach
Our
out.
number will be there.
Reach out. We're always available and we're happy to help. Thank you guys, and see you in another Casas Cashflow. Bye now.
Thank you, beautiful souls.